Holy shit, is it hot. It's hot and humid. We're sweating like hell, carrying too much shit. Anyway, that's where we're headed to. Beautiful Mt Humboldt. Site of Araucaria humboldtensis, as well as a few other rarities. Been hiking since about 5 in the morning, probably. I don't know. 6 in the morning. Done like 5 miles so far. Over there you can see remnants of an abandoned nickel mine. An abandoned nickel mining operation. You know, that's the reason why the roads have been so good. But, you know, we got to ascend about, I don't know, 4,000 feet in the next couple hours. So we'll see how we feel after that. Look, I just love these exposures, you know. This blue serpentine, okay? It's not a hard rock. It's pretty crumbly. You know, it doesn't have much structural integrity. You know, they call it soapstone for a reason, because it's kind of smooth and soapy, you know, but it's beautiful. You know, you could carve something out of this, you know, very sharp flakes. A lot of sharp, not a nice, you know, you could, you have your own little craft fair right here. You know, right here on the side of this fucking mountain in the middle of this tropical forest, you know, on this remote island. That's Grevillea. Look at that. Variations on a theme. Grevillea! Holy fuck, I'm dying. Gotta find a personal injury attorney and sue the maker of this bag. It's a nice little mining scar on the side of that hill. Oh yeah, look at Cyathopsis. You know, so many aracoids. Look how luxuriant that new foliage looks. With those little ridges. You know, right before they're about to burst out into new leaves. You get some flower buds up there unopened. What an absolutely stunning plant. Como se dice, you take this to the garden show in McCormick Place, you know, you blow everybody's minds. You know, especially if you, you know, gave them juice laced with acid beforehand. Not that I would ever do that, you know. It might be funny. Get some of those suburban folks, get them on psychedelics that go weird places. You know, it's all that repression finally coming out. All right, anyway, moving on. Here we go. Nice Dracophyllum. Tall one, too. And you got a nice Scaevola up here. Yet another Scaevola. Kind of rubbery leaves. You know, felty and rubbery. You know, almost delicate. You get slapped around with that, you probably like it. You see up there, Mt Humboldt's just starting to get covered in clouds, which would actually be pretty nice, because we're fucking roasting right now. Look, it's Drosera neocaledonica. New Caledonia's only endemic Drosera. Of course, there's a ton of them on Australia and probably a ton on New Guinea, but just one here. So one made it here at some point over the last 40 million years. Man, this is fucking rough at it. It has been it's been kind of rough. Okay, well, there's the ocean. You know, I'm not gonna lie. This is you can see the reef out there. Actually, it's pretty nice. I'm not gonna lie. This is probably the shittiest I've ever felt hiking. You know, compounded by the 90-degree heat. Now we got a nice breeze. The 90-degree heat, the extreme humidity, and 50 pounds of bullshit I got on my back. You know, I'm moving at the geriatric pace. But look at this extremely rare ancient lineage of conifer. This is a species of Agathis. It's the first one we came upon on this hard serpentine, this ultramafic rock. Look at those leaves. See the parallel venation? So it's got broad leaves. You almost think it might be an angiosperm, but of course it's got that conical habit, that columnar and conical habit. And then you look at the venation, and they're just parallel venation. Very simple, you know, very simple venation on these. And of course, where this, if this had cones on it, of course, it'd be the big giveaway right there. But Agathis is a genus in Araucariaceae. You got three genera in Araucariaceae. You got Araucaria, Willemia, and Agathis. And Agathis, of course, is the same genus as the notable Corey trees you see in New Zealand. Big fuckers. And it's pretty remarkable. No, I think there's like 3 or 4 different species of Agathis that grow up there. You get a nice money shot of those. Oh yeah. Those leathery sclerophilous leaves. Look at this drosera sitting up a flowering spike. Looks like it's already post anthesis. I still can't get over how fuzzy those little leaflets are. Over here, pretty interesting little fern. Got any sorry in there? Yeah, there you go. Always got to flip the ferns over. Look at the sorry. This thing feels like plastic. Jesus Christ, I'm really hard up. Haven't been this fucking exhausted and destroyed in a long time. Ooh. And look at this. Look at all this stuff in the understory. It's more of that weird coralloid lichen. I've seen some stuff like this in West Australia. But it's in abundance here. What's the gulls, you know? It's like leaf herpes. Yeah, that stuff's amazing. So spiky and firm, you know? You could give that to an old lady at the craft fair, you know? She'd probably go bonkers. What the fuck is this? Ooh. Looks like it's, let's see, is it a Dacridium? Is it a Dacridium ericarioides or an ericaria? Probably a Dacridium. Two different genera, two different families. Yet they look so much alike. Here's that Skyzea fern. It's a real weird one. Look at that. Jesus. Like a little hand. Oh, there's a couple of them down there. Okay, let's see if I can make it to the top and don't die. You know, I noticed a obvious lack of mosquitoes. I haven't been bit once. Probably because there's no mammals here, save for flying foxes and then of course I think there's a couple introduced. Not a couple. I think there's a couple thousand introduced deer, maybe axis deer, whatever deer's in Indonesia. They brought them from somewhere for hunting and they got loose. You know, I've never felt more sure that I was going to die on a hike than I have today, you know? Anyway, what you're looking at, this is all what's called maquis, M-A-Q-U-I-S, which is a French word for, you know, the low-growing, shrubby, exposed shit. You know? Dry forest, somewhat dry, on a serpentine. No, this ain't too dry. This has just been a dry month or two. Or so the locals have told us. But you can see all that warm air off the Pacific once it gets to about 5,000, maybe 4,000, 5,000 feet, where the top of that mountain is. You know, it cools off, it condenses, and you get vapor. You know, you get cloud formation, and normally a lot of rain. But again, the reason for this pygmy habit, you see, is that the soil is just too fucked up. It's just too nutrient poor, too rich in iron, and too low in nitrogen. To support much luxuriant growth. You know, if I do die, I want you guys to remember the better parts of me, you know? Not the parts where I'm cursing at myself or at the camera or at others. You know, the nice part, the soft parts, you know, the soft serve. Holy fuck. Nice Caledonia. Look at the stipules on these. Look at that, waxy stipules. Okay, this is interesting. Now we're getting high enough that we're getting a little bit more diversity. This is the Dacridium ericarioides. So named because it looks like an ericaria, but it's actually a podocarp, which for those that don't know, is a massive, very large, diverse family of Southern Hemisphere tropical conifers. You can see that foliage, so intricate. Huh? You like that? You like that geometry? Anyway, this is probably a 40 or 50-year-old tree. Everything's pygmy here. Remember, it grows very slowly due to the harsh ultramaffics. Moving right along. You got a real nice Cyatopsis there. Look at that. Look at those flowers. Look, it's the remnants of old mining debris, as well as Caledonia macrophylla, which is hard to believe it's not a myrtle. It's not a myrtaceae, especially with those damn flowers, you know. Oops, one just broke off. Stamens united in a ring. Anyway, so you know, we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna turn around and head back down there. We basically walked from the ocean. And the only source of water we've come across is that creek you could see way down there. And, you know, it does indeed feel like we're going to die, you know. I'm normally one that enjoys reckless situations. But this is a little different. This is like a, you know, I like the reckless situations when the odds are in your favor. And the odds are not in our favor. Right there, you got some Dacrydium ericarioides and some Agathis ovata. Everything takes on that candelabra shape. I'm assuming just because it can't get very tall. So while it does age, it doesn't get very tall, and the lower branches just kind of senesce and die off, and you get this, you know, or maybe it just becomes too expensive to retain those branches very long. But either way, it's very odd. It's convergent among multiple different families here in the Maquis. You know, so you'll get these things that just gotta, you know, the bottom 3/4 of their branches are sparse, you know, no growth whatsoever, and then up at the top or on the edges of the, you know, so it ends up looking kind of like a mushroom or like a candelabra. Here's that Dacrydium again, looking so much like an Ericaria, but it's a podocarp. Podocarpaceae again, at the southern hemisphere plant family. Oh, look at all the garbage they left. All that cable wire. So I guess what they were doing, they were taking, you know, they had pulleys, and they were, I guess, kind of string lining wire down from ridge to ridge, and then using that to transport, I assume, buckets of ore. You know, and judging from the age of that wood, must have been at least 50, 60 years ago. Some nice Dracophyllum again. Whole mountainside's just dug up. But it hasn't been an active mine in a very long time. And again, not a mosquito in sight, which has been nice, you know. It's been fucking miserable enough the last day. You know, we did 14 miles yesterday, carrying 50 pounds of shit in our backs, sweating our asses off with barely any water, just getting cooked by the sun in like 90-degree heat. Again, amazing stipules. All right, here we go. So there still is ultramafic soil, but you can see that it kind of weathers into this mud, probably because we're in a hot and humid tropical environment. So in that way, it almost kind of becomes more like laterite soil, you know, like very, still very iron rich, thus the red color. But, you know, true laterites have a little bit different of a situation going on at that position. You know, I think they mostly imply shallow water lagoons, you know, at lakes and whatnot. But, you know, obviously this is just ultramafic, just scraped off that subduction zone that was once off the coast. But, you know, it weathers. It turns into this mud and just is in a constant state of, you know, moving down slope, and then whatever solid rocks there are in it just kind of get washed out. But again, although, you know, I assume all the magnesium and nickel has long been leached out of this and is now, you know, further down in the soil. So you just have this really clay-like, iron-rich, shitty mud. It's, you know, if it was raining right now, I'm sure we'd have more of a hard time coming up here, but it hasn't been raining. It's, you know, dry as a bone. So, you know, anyway, that's it. You know, you can see some nice, there were some nice gabbro boulders down there too. Nice little black boulders. Look, it's another member of the Ericaceae. This one with axile flowers. Look at that. There's the unopened leaflets. The leaves, rather. Just, you know, looking like a little spike. Of course, at the bottom, you got a whole mess of that coralloid lichen. Saw this in West Australia, too. Pretty interesting stuff. Holy shit, and that sun is coming out. Gonna fucking roast. There's more of it. Oh shit, it forms a little tree. More Dracophyllum, look at that. It looks like a Dracaena, you know that office plant that everyone's always trying to kill? You know, but it's hard to kill. It does well in an enclosed human structure, like a depressing office. Jeez, those are some very aggressive leaf galls on this Myotocarpus. Almost looks like some sort of strange sexual pleasure device, you know? Maybe half pleasure, half pain? I don't know. Look at this fuzzy bastard. Look at the leaves on it. Look at it. Ooh, look at that fuzz. Look at that tomentose. Ooh, and that new growth, protecting that new growth from that harsh sun. There's the fruits, little star-shaped fuckers. And look at all that, more of that coralloid lichen everywhere. What a strange habitat. And here's the goddamn... See, it looks like lava. It looks like lava rock, but I don't believe it is. I believe it's just some fucking weird... I guess it could be, who knows? It's just some weird part of the ophiolite sequence. Subduction zone rocks. And apparently ultramafic, too. As I believe most of this entire mountain is. Yeah, there you go. Okay, there's Ericaria, probably Bruguiera. You know, one of New Caledonia. I think there's like 10, 9 or 10, probably, maybe there's more than that. Endemic Araucarias on this island. You know, just a little lone branch on the photosynthetic tree of life. You know, originated in the Jurassic and then somehow pulled through to the Anthropocene. Anyway, there it is. But we gotta head back. I don't think we got enough time to go down there. Just kind of a drag, but. Yeah, there we go. Nice species of orchid. Look at those leaf blades, though. Oh, look at the labellum. What's going on over there? It's got a studded labellum, just like so many of the Australian ones. You mind if I take a look, huh? You see what's going on? Oh, okay, all right. You know, but some of your flowers aren't looking so hot. You look like you had a bit of a rough one. You got some rat. It's a long way down. Ah, there we go. After a nice skinny dip, here we are back down at the river after that aborted death march. You know, I mean, fucking came down 2,000 feet. It's about 90 degrees outside. Blazing hot sun. You know, I am pink. Even with my little dago bit of melanin, my little bit of caramelization, I still am, you know, all my neck, all that shit, it's all pink. You know, it's not nice. Doesn't feel very good. It burns, you know. Anyway, nice species of grevillea here. Yeah, let's take a nice close look at What we got going on? Oh yeah. This goddamn thing would focus. So you can see those things, those little antennas sticking out. Those are the pollen presenters. The tepals, the 4 tepals, valvate tepals, as in most proteas, are pulled back. Let me see if I can get a nice, show you some of the, yeah, see, there you go. So you got that stigmatic disc at the top of those pollen presenters. I'd like to show you some of the anthers on the tepals, you know, because it really illustrates how weird the you know, the pollination syndrome is for this, or the floral syndrome rather, the floral morphology. But you know, the camera's fucking up. It's being a pain in the ass. It's not focusing, and you know, I'm roasting my ass off in the sun, and I can't seem to find those. Anyway, here you go. So of course, Grevillea proteaceae all over the southern hemisphere. Variations on a theme, couple different ones here. Got salix, you know, willow looking leaves, but they are hard and leathery. Coriaceous. And of course you could just see the ultramathics. Ultramathic rock everywhere, what I'm standing on, ultramathic. Got some nice little fish in those streams, you know. They were interested in nibbling on my rank ass feet. You know, I felt kind of flattered. You know, can't find many other people that'll do. Holy shit! Look at that. The fucking geology here is incredible. You can see why there was so much mining. You know, mostly for nickel, possibly a little bit of chromium, any of the other ultramathic minerals. And here what appears to be another Caledonia, or at least Cunoniaceae. Look at the stipules on it. Big ass stipules. Hope you don't mind me saying that. Is that offensive? Okay, we got 5 miles to go. Oh, yeah, there's another Cunoniaceae. Another one too. Look at that. Almost looking like a Cephalanthus, but with little spiky balls. Anyway, we got 5 miles to go back. We're gonna roast our asses off. Hopefully we don't die. You know, normally I like reckless shit. Okay, I do. But hiking uphill with 50 pounds in the heat with no water except this, I mean, what we could carry up. You know, we got 5,000 feet to climb from here. It does seem a little sketchy. It seems a little undoable. Look at the gymnostoma up there. Everything's got that weird shape, that weird candelabra looking shape. So much stuff here. Anyway, here we go. Oh yeah, you know, I was gonna say, I think this looks like Oleaceae, which it could be, from those flowers, you know. But you know, there's no Lady Cleo of botany to fucking you know, give me a heads up out here. I'm just kind of I'm lost. I'm like a child, you know. A child in the supermarket. Interesting plant though. Certainly could be Oleaceae or some other weird ass southern hemisphere family I've never heard before. There, here you go. You can't escape the sedges. They're everywhere. Huh? Cyperaceae. You know, but they're actually kind of remarkable here. They're actually pretty distinct. Not these little dainty bastards we get in the northern hemisphere. Many of these are pretty big. Actually, you get big ones in the northern hemisphere too. But you know, these are everywhere. Down here, doing very well for themselves. Yeah, a nice little Nepenthes colony just growing right on the side of the road. Apparently, very tolerant of the shitty and harsh ultramathic soil. You know, it does look a little rough. Looks a little worse for wear. Oh, it's a fuzzy picture. Oh, look at that. Some more nepenthes growing on serpentine. Very harsh exposure of serpentine. Real nice piece right there. Look at that shearing. Again, it's just fragile as hell. Very soft rock. See the shearing? That linear shearing from the tension and pressure of a subduction zone. Looking at an old nickel mine. Sure, the water's yummy. Look, see, they got a nice swimming spot, you know. So if you get, that's only if you get the suite. You got a nice spot to wash your ass, you know, when it's hot and humid as balls outside and totally uncomfortable. But you know, do keep in mind that the nickel mine is just up the road here. So anyway, nice blechnum. It's called Lesson blechnum. Blechnum. So wonderful, luxuriant trunk. There's another nepenthes picture plate, but I want to show you something, if you'll let me. Do indulge. Over here, real lovely nepenthes, and right here you can see what's going on with that leaf. How that picture is indeed just a modified leaf. See the end of that, leaf. You get that kind of filiform thing, and then it does a little whirligig, whoop-de-whoop, and then turns into a goddamn picture. How long do you think it took for this to evolve? But evidently when it did evolve, it had a massive radiation, and because it was so successful. And of course you get that peristome, that lip right there. Looks almost obscene right there. Very fuzzy. Nepenthes villardii. Villardii? I don't know. I don't speak French. I'm pretty terrible at it. I tried taking it in high school, you know, only because I was forced to and I hated it. But anyway, you know, variations on a theme. Not all pitcher plants use their leaves to turn into, or modify their leaves into pitchers, but the nepenthes obviously does, and it's been very successful for this plant. You know, you ever see the nepenthes that it's got the lip that comes down here, so the mouse is supposed to shit in it? The toilet nepenthes. I'm not even being obscene. It's a real thing. Look it up. Okay, there you go. Hey, what a beautiful river, so blue and also so deep, and it was sketchy as fuck getting over here because there's not much of a trail at all. You just kind of grabbing anything you think you can hold on to, you know, so you don't fall in. It is pretty deep there. It looks about 20 feet. You know, luckily I can swim, but I prefer not to be wet. Anyway, the tree we're looking at right here is another tree of interest. It's actually a member of the redwood family. It's a member of the genus Callitris, which is a notorious southern hemisphere, and specifically, you know, the Australian region, genus of conifers. And here you can see what the cones look like. There's quite a few in this genus in Australia. However, there's a few more in New Caledonia. Of course, very rare and localized. You can see there's the cones, there's an open one, and right there's a green one, still maturing. You know, bark looks like a juniper, which is makes sense because they're in the same family. Here's what appears to be a little guy. It's nice to see there's regeneration. You got some Herbertia, like Dr. Hibbert, you know, the Leniaceae. Yellow flowers, however, those are just the fruits maturing. Ultramafic rocks everywhere, of course. Temperature's cooled off a little bit. I'm not sweating my ass off anymore. Don't feel like I'm going to pass out. Look at that beautiful bark, though. You know? Obvious member of the juniper family right there. You know, and they blend in with that gymnosperm a lot, so it could be hard to see them. But there's a shit ton more. You just kind of got to look for the architecture, which I was doing. And, you know, I've seen them up on that hill. And I decided to come over here and have a gander. Wish there was some that were easier to get at, though. There's another one up there. Juniper, cypress, redwood family, etc. Callitris. So, you know, there's a couple dead ones you could see right there. I don't know what that is, if they just dried out or what. But then, of course, the ones that are close to the river are still going off. Look, this one's even got a little epiphytic orchid on there. And of course you could see the little seedlings. Foliage looks notoriously different when it's when they're young. You know, just like a juniper. Of course, same family. Anyway, there you go. Callitris sulcata.
Yeah, so it turns out you actually can get a drunken disorderly ticket at your little son's Little League game. I learned that the hard way, not a lesson I want to repeat, but, you know, you learn what you can and you move on. Okay, I'll give you the details some other time, but basically I need a gram to get bailed out right now. Okay, just call me back. Bye.
I seen how they do it. They get a crowbar and they wedge it under the garage door. And then when they got enough room, they put a car jack under there. Okay, then they jack it up, and then they get the skinny guy, and he goes underneath the garage door. He gets in there, and then he goes and he unlocks the side door, and then they clear you out. That's how they do it. I seen them doing that over on Stan's house down the block. You know, I called the cops, but I watched them first. I wanted to see how they did it, so I can make my garage more secure. So that's how they do it.
Hi there, my name's Steve Kowalski. I'm in billing and receiving for Gutierrez Landscaping. I'm just calling you about your delinquent account. We've been out there several times this season, and we have not received your payment. If you would be able to send that over to us as soon as possible, it would be greatly appreciated. We take check, money order, or cash tied to an envelope around a brick and then put through the window at night. I don't care how you get it to us, but we've been mowing your dang lawn for half the summer, trimming the shrubs real nice, and doing all the lawn care, having a guy walk on it with the golf shoe things, and we just really we need to get paid. And if you're not able to do that, we do have ways to recoup our expenses. Just to clarify, this is not a threat, just providing you some information. Again, if you could call me back, that'd be greatly appreciated. Okay, bye.
Look at the mangroves. You know, you got the little crabbies hanging on their little crabby holes. Oh yeah, there's tons of them. Is there a little carpa maybe? I don't know. Look at it. It looks like the stamens go first, then they dehisce, and then you got that long style poking out. Very odd flower. But look at it. Dozens of seedlings beneath the parent. And of course, all those little knobs are pneumatophores. You know, aerial roots. You know, both for stabilization and probably to get some oxygen in this salty, briny mud.